Welcome to this special episode of What's Up Pasadena. Protecting our environment is a global concern, and Pasadena is no exception. Come with us to learn about the people and places in our city that get the green thumbs up. On this episode, we talk with the renowned Dr. Jane Goodall. Famed for her years of studying chimpanzees and focus on conservation, meet the Urban Homestead family that is a model for sustainable agriculture, give you 20 easy tips on how to be more green, and overwhelm your senses by taking you inside the earth-friendly sanctuary at the Haunted Shack Gardens. In the Wrigley Gardens at the Tournament House, you can stroll among the flowers and observe several roses with famous namesakes: Julia Child, Barbra Streisand, Marilyn Monroe, and Dick Clark. But on October 10th, a gorgeous new pink and yellow tea rose was unveiled and added to the collection, one named in honor of Dr. Jane Goodall, and developed in partnership with Jackson & Perkins.
Well, one is absolutely beautiful, and somehow I always was under the impression it was red, and this pink is so much, for me, more beautiful, more delicate, and it's got a lovely fragrance, so it's an enormous honor to have this beautiful flower with my name associated. It's fabulous.
At the tender age of 26, Dr. Goodall left her home in England to study wild chimpanzees in Tanzania, a world that was relatively unknown. By immersing herself in their habitat, she made groundbreaking revelations about their behaviors and personalities, as well as the discovery of their creation and use of tools. Years later, Dr. Goodall is a global leader in conservation, having founded the Jane Goodall Institute and the international youth program Roots and Shoots, and becoming a UN Messenger of Peace.
So in the spring, this will be in the UN Peace Garden, and boy, does the world need peace. So, little Rose, you have a lot of work ahead of you.
We're also contributing a portion of the sale of each rose to her institute, and we're honored to do that.
It's beautiful. It will make many people happy, many people smile, and it will not only give me joy to look at, but hopefully help JGI to do some of our programs around the world. Well, the mission of the Jane Goodall Institute, put simply, is to make the world a better place for animals, people, and the environment. But of course, a main focus is continuing the research of the chimps at Gombe, conserving them and chimpanzees in 6 other African countries. And in order to protect the chimpanzees, we have to work with the local people to bring them out of poverty, and so that they become our partners in conservation. And all of this is hard work. All of this requires raising a lot of money, and what's the point of any of it if we're not raising new generations to be better stewards than we've been? And so our Roots and Shoots program for young people from kindergarten, university, everything in between, is now in 100 countries. It's got about 150,000 active groups, not members, but groups. And it's basically has a message: every individual matters. Every single individual makes a difference of some sort every single day, and we have a choice as to what sort of difference to make. And each group, between them, they choose. It's not something where we give information. It's, of course, we provide information, but then the youth chooses 3 projects, things that make them passionate, to help people, to help animals, to help the environment. And running through this, which is so important today, is let's break down the barriers between people of different nations, different cultures, different religions, and between us and the natural world. If you think about the consequences for future generations of every choice that you make, and that's something everybody can do. You know, if you see litter, do you pick it up or leave it? If you see a stray dog that's obviously lost and homeless, do you just drive by, or do you try and rescue it or report it? And things like that. When I first got involved in the scientific world, because I'd never been to college when I went to Gombe, and was told that I shouldn't have given the chimps names, they should have had numbers, and I couldn't talk about their personality, minds, or emotions. Those were unique to us. And it was thought that there was a difference in kind, and a barrier between us and all the rest of the animal kingdom. But fortunately, Even though I hadn't been to college and was rather in awe of these erudite professors, I had a teacher when I was a child who taught me that in this respect they were wrong, and that teacher was my dog. You can't share your life in a meaningful way with a dog, cat, rabbit, horse, pig, bird, I don't care what it is. And no, of course they have personalities, minds, and emotions. We are not the only beings with those attributes. And now science has opened its doors and young people can study the intelligence of the octopus. They can study the intelligence of some insects. And they can study the communication between trees and plants. When I was 10 years old, I read Tarzan of the Apes, fell in love with Tarzan, who stupidly married the wrong Jane, but anyway, it was when my dream began. I will grow up, go to Africa, live with wild animals, and write books about them. Everybody laughed at me. How will you do that? Don't have any money, Africa's far away. Girls don't do that sort of thing. But my mother didn't. She said, if this is what you really want, you're going to have to work awfully hard, and you're going to have to take advantage of opportunity and never give up. And so that's the advice I give to young people. And I say to them, you know, don't just think about making money and more money and more money. Make enough money to live, but don't live for money. And if you want to go into some career which won't make you wealthy, if it's what your heart is passionate about, you will be happy.
Did you know aluminum can be infinitely recycled, but if it doesn't make it into the recycle bin, it can take up to 500 years to decompose in a landfill.
You fill up my senses like a sleepy blue ocean. You fill up my senses. Come fill me again.
Everybody wants to know where their food's coming from. Well, one hardworking family in Pasadena has to look no further than their own backyard.
So welcome to the Urban Homestead. We're here in Pasadena. Our lot is 66 by 132. So as you can see, it's growing a lot of things. The property is about a fifth, but what we're growing on is a tenth of an acre. And we've lived here for 30 years and been growing intensively for probably like the past 25 years, and then got into education and sustainability outreach in about 2001, and that's when we started our website and things like that. So we've been doing it for a while. My father, after he graduated from college, he actually immigrated to New Zealand and homesteaded there, and that's where I was born. So he had that back to the land movement he was involved in, and so I was born in that sort of environment. Then he came back to the States and then came to Pasadena, and back in, I think in '89, we started, my dad smothered the lawn and started growing food in the front yard. Our neighbors thought we were nuts, but now it's kind of like, hey, yeah, you guys were ahead of the curve. So now more, I've noticed like more people are wanting to know where their food comes from. So we grow a lot of vegetables and fruits and herbs. So in the front is edible landscaping, so that has the herbs, some fruit trees, and then we have some annual vegetables that we tuck in. Back here we have about 50 raised beds and of vegetables. It takes a lot of work. But we love it. It's a lifestyle for us, and it's sort of a love affair too. It's just because it just really connects us and it makes us feel we have a purpose. And so everybody's going to have their own, 9-to-5 job. So everybody is going to work for something, and we work to sustain ourselves. So we not only sustain our family from what we grow, we also sell the extra produce. So it's directly and indirectly self-sufficient. Small steps have a big impact. So if everybody did something collectively, we can, be the change we wish to see. So not everybody can do this because it takes a lot of work, but if people took little pieces, so if they, like I said, supported a local farmer, or didn't let the water run when they brush their teeth. So just even the smallest thing, like that doesn't cost anything, is to conserve. So you don't even have to spend a dime, you just can conserve, and that's free, and that's something simple. So to make this a zero footprint property, we compost, we have our chickens for the garden waste too, and also eggs. We have the solar panels, we have a gray water system, the laundry to landscape thing that we harvest the rainwater. We just live simply too. So what we did was we started in one corner of the yard and we expanded over the years. So what people are seeing now is like a 30-year journey, and they get excited and kind of bite off more they can chew. So what we encourage people just to start off with a couple, a raised bed or two, or a couple pots with herbs, and then every year expands. And we encourage people to also make like to-do lists. Like, so one year, let's just tackle the garden, and the next year maybe do solar or gray water systems and things. And then check with your local city. We're blessed that we live in Pasadena. Pasadena has a really amazing amount of programs. We like to teach people because we feel empowered. Like, if we know something, we want to pass it on and share our skills with others so that they feel that, that with their two hands that they can or make bread or raise chickens and things like that. So we try to pass on to others what we've learned. We have a website, urbanhomestead.org. We also have a blog, which we started in 2001, detailing our journey of homesteading in the city. We are on Facebook and Instagram, and we just launched a podcast this year. So we have about 40 episodes online. We're not only talking, but we interview other local food advocates or musicians, and just all amazing, interesting people who are passionate about the food or the music or the communities. And we do have a host workshops, so they can all find that online. So the response for the urban farm has been, amazing. Like I said, I like to say like our CSA Farm Box program is food for the people and it's grown by the people. So we're, they can see it. They talk to us. They know we either grew it or our friends of ours grew it. So it's about connecting and making a connection, and just to see, and now the farm stand customers become friends. So it's not only growing food, we're growing community too. So it's sort of a ripple effect. So it's not just food. There's a lot involved in just growing inspiration and hope. So people say, why you do this, or what is it? And it's, you can kind of look at it, you're saving money and you're helping the planet and things like that. But then, in a sense that if you start with yourself and you just say, I'm doing this, I have good food, I have good health, and then I can be strong myself, and then I can help others. So in a sense, it's not selfish, but it's looking at a different perspective. If you take care of and you drop the pebble where you are, and then the ripples will have effect. And so it's, if it's about making money, no. If it's about, having more and doing that, it's not. It's just about caring. And you can start with caring about yourself. And if you care about what food you're taking in, or what food you're buying, or what you're buying, what products you're buying, then that will have an effect on your lifestyle and maybe your family and your community. And then you can say, hey, I traveled this path, I know or don't know, and then you can help others by helping yourself first.
Did you know one of the world's oldest trees lives in California's White Mountains? The bristlecone pine tree is estimated to be around 5,000 years old.
You can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the king, come banging on your chest. You can beat the world, you can beat the war. You could talk to God, go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You can be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you can find yourself. Standing in the Hall of Fame.
We can all improve our footprint on the planet, so here's 20 easy tips to be more green. Skip the straw at restaurants. An estimated 500 million straws are used in the US alone. These straws often end up in the ocean, which can seriously harm lovable marine animals like sea turtles. Shop with reusable bags. There are a number of cities that have banned plastic bags, so keep a couple of canvas bags in your car or purse for when you go shopping. Volunteer at a community garden. This not only helps to beautify the neighborhood, you may even make some new friends. Switch out your light bulbs to LED. They last longer and will help you save money on your energy bill. Unplug all chargers when not in use. Even when you don't have a device connected, the charger is still pulling energy. Drink water from a reusable bottle. Forget the single-use plastic bottle. 1,500 plastic water bottles are consumed every second, all of which head to the trash. Keep your freezer full to save energy. When there's less space to cool down, your fridge doesn't have to work as hard to keep your food cold. Water your lawn and plants in the morning or evening. The air is cooler, so the water won't evaporate as quickly. Make your own cleaning supplies with simple ingredients like vinegar, lemon, and baking soda. Buy from local stores or farmers markets. Purchasing your food locally saves on energy and petroleum to ship food from distant locations. Open the shades to light a room. Let the sun shine in and get some vitamin D in the process. Stop junk mail insanity. There's a number of websites that you can visit to unsubscribe from the catalogs and notices that clog your mailbox. Break out the sweaters or comfy blankets during winter. Turning down the thermostat just a few degrees can save energy and a lot of money on your power bill. Waste less food by using a checklist. One of the biggest ways that people waste food is going to the grocery store hungry and without direction. Turn off the TV and go for a hike. Not only are you saving electricity, you're also getting closer to nature. Take the junk out of your trunk. A lighter car means better fuel efficiency. Go paperless and switch to online billing. It also makes life so much easier than searching down that paper bill. Take shorter showers. I know, we all love long hot showers in the morning, but it saves many gallons of water a year. Donate old newspaper to your local animal shelter. And recycle, recycle, recycle. Need I say more? Did you know recycling a single run of the Sunday New York Times or other major paper Sunday editions would save approximately 75,000 trees?
You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
At the Haunted Shack Gardens, the old adage, one man's trash is another man's treasure, could not be more true. Follow us to explore this unique and colorful sculpture garden.
A lot of the art and sculptures and pieces that are in this garden are made out of reused materials. They're made out of things that have been discarded, things that were, you could say, dead in many ways. Some of the materials that are used here are all the usual kitchen trash, bottles, all kinds of containers, plastic bottles, all cans, all kinds of cans, the lids of cans, all the caps, all of this, all of that kind of stuff. Then there's a lot of found furniture, pieces of furniture, found wood. So much lumber is thrown away. Almost all reused, all kinds of metal, random stuff. Occasionally I'll take an appliance apart and see what there is to see. Well, as you look around and you'll see there's just about everything. Often people will drop by a box full of broken plates or their grandmother's antique ceramics that's broken. Over the years, this has happened over and over and over and over again. It's quite common, actually, and I'm collecting stuff all the time, so I'm constantly picking trash up off the street, seeing interesting stuff on the side of the road, thrift shops, yard sales, all this kind of stuff. People are always getting new stuff and they're getting rid of their old stuff, and a lot of times it doesn't fit into the trash can, so it goes on the side of the road. So all this stuff I've been collecting for years and making something out of it, or changing it, or altering it in some way, and that's been going on since when I started in my 20s. When I was in my 20s and I bought this house. I was raising 2 kids here. I just naturally started to do what I do, and it's turned into this quite large garden in the front yard and in the backyard. And there's sculptures. It started with a love of plants, actually, and so I was making sculptures that held plants. And also I was predominantly a painter, and I reached a point where I painted over 50 large walls in LA, in inner city schools and under the freeways and all this. And I had done quite a lot of painting with a lot of groups of people, and I've kind of burned out on it. So then I started making stuff out of trash and putting stuff in cement, and that was all around that time. And something that has become popular in the last 10 years is doing installations out of trash. So I've been doing installations out of trash at festivals since 2005. Tours at the Haunted Shack Gardens just recently started happening with a group called Cartwheel Art Tours, and it's been in the last year. For many, many years, people have, from all around the neighborhood, people who know about it, word of mouth, have come by to see what it is, brought their relatives who come to visit during the holidays, seek it out, they've heard about it, word of mouth. So it's been a place where there's almost always somebody milling about in the front or walking by or curious about it. They'll drive by and see it and just be like, what is this?
There was one guest in particular that had donated some doors, and so that was fun to hear how the process was and collection of the doors and where they are now, and seeing, you know, how they were installed and put into a piece. Every time I've brought a different group here, I just see how inspired they are. See them get lost in the garden, wanting to take all kinds of photos. It's really fun to watch Shrine talk about the work. I'm just a super fan, like straight out. Everything that he does touches me in a way, and so I go to the festivals and experience his structures, the altars, the shrines, the music that's played in the middle of the night when you're laying there and all the cans are playing, you know, for you naturally through the wind, you know, going through the different cans. It's so fun. It's a meditation. It's peaceful. That's why I started Cartwheel Art Tours, is to be able to provide immersive experiences.
It's kind of Dr. Seuss meets Watts Tower. It's so imaginative, and I really appreciate that in an artist. As an art dealer, I think that this is very exciting because it shows that anything is possible, and that an artist who doesn't necessarily hang his work in a gallery still can have so much impact on the world around him. And I look forward to seeing more public art by Shrine in LA or Pasadena, or whoever's lucky enough to get something from him.
A fulfilling aspect of doing this for me is the constant searching, discovering, reaching for inspiration, right? That's my own practice. That's what I'm doing all the time. That's my love. That's what fuels me. That's what keeps life interesting for me. But at the same time, I like the idea of inspiring other people. Inspiration isn't just something that's used to make things that you call art. It's used to stay healthy. When you're inspired, I believe that the cells in your body and your immune system are working as good as they can work. And so we're all being bombarded with not just actual toxic poisons at all times now, we're being bombarded with toxic ideas too. So how do you stay healthy? How do you stay out of the hospital? One of the ways is you stay inspired. This is something I hugely believe in. So if people can come here and be inspired, I think that's a good thing.
Here's your events calendar for the month of December. The mayor's annual holiday tree lighting ceremony on December 1st at Pasadena City Hall. Winter Wonderland on December 2nd at Vroman's Bookstore. Holiday kickoff with Leftover Cuties on December 2nd at One Colorado Courtyard. The 9th annual Deck the Vela volunteer event on December 3rd at Vela Esperanza Services. Breakfast with Santa on December 9th at the War Memorial Building. Holiday at the Station on December 25th at Union Station's Adult Center. Snow Days on December 26th through 30th at Kidspace Children's Museum. Live on Green, December 29th through 31st at Pasadena Convention Center. That's your events calendar for the month of December. Thanks for joining us for this special environmental episode. Be sure to check out a new episode next month and follow us on social media and visit us at pasadenamedia.org. And remember, small steps can make a big difference. See you next time.